The reason I have glasses is because we're about to enter the Nitro Engine Matrix. We're gonna take a look inside this motor. They're yelling, how do you spell racist? The answer is NYPD. But NYPD, that is not how you actually spell racist. I have no idea what the condition of the motor is, so let's see. Okay, I'm looking inside. Ho, Mo, let me take this off. What's up, Nitro Gang? I am about to get ready to go on a Nitro road trip. This RC is a Traxxas Rustler. I'm gonna go pick it up. I hear it's in pretty much parts-like condition. This one is not for me. I am going to be doing a favor for one of my RC buddies and taking a look at it and then hopefully getting this old Traxxas Rustler back on the road. I heard there is a motor that's included. I'm not sure what the condition of the motor is, and there are some parts to get this thing to run. So let's go see what the owner has got. The guy did buy this thing used to begin with, so don't, put any comments in there. What happened to this? He didn't take any care of it. It's not the owner's fault. I am going to do my best to get this thing running. Hopefully, it's worth it. Of course, you could always spend a whole bunch of money and make anything run. There's going to come a part to this video eventually down the line where I'm going to give my opinion on what should happen. Whether the motor can be fixed and run or whether it needs a completely new motor. It all depends on what's actually there, how much money it's going to take, and what condition the motor is in. Let's go. Here it is, guys. You're looking at it. I was just looking over the motor. It's in a bin full of Nitro Rustler parts. I could see there are some good wheels here. The wheels on the model itself are not bad. They are like new. So yeah, Nitro Rustler, motor is not in the car. That's never really a good sign. I could see multiple new parts here. As I said before, we got the clutch, got a flywheel, we got a one-way bearing, and we have a pull start, all for this engine. Take a look at this motor. Do you guys notice anything weird about it? Look at the carb. Yep, it's missing this right here, which should be on the carb. So it looks like somebody at one point or another probably broke it off. Hopefully I can fix this. I don't know. That goes without saying that if the motor isn't like restorable or seized. Now, I don't have a flywheel here, so yeah, I can't fully apply force to spin it, but I cannot spin the crankshaft at all with my fingers at this point, at all. The header looks to have been really weirdly painted. I don't know why anybody would paint a header, but as I said before, this is not the guy that gave me this. This is the owner before, and yeah, so a lot of stuff was going on here. Don't ever paint your header, guys. There's absolutely no reason to have to paint the header on a Nitro motor. It doesn't make any sense. In fact, it looks like the chassis itself, let me get this out of here. Yeah, it looks like the chassis itself is painted as well. There's weird glossy black paint on it. There's, once again, just no reason to do this at all. The parts are already black. I don't know why anybody would do this at all, but it's been done. It has a TQI Traxxas Link receiver, so that's good. It looks like the hardware is here. The wheels are okay. I could tell the spur gear is not stripped. That's already a good sign. But there is just so much going on here. I have two pipes, right? Two pipes. We'll just make one of them work, whichever one fits. Clearly, it was probably this one, right? That was on this thing originally. The pressure fitting here on top is fully covered with paint all over. I've never seen that happen. So yeah, another example of what not to do in RC. Don't paint over parts that need to be functional. You know what I'm saying? The fuel tank seems relatively okay. There's no goo inside there. That might actually be because this thing was probably not run, because the owner seems to have fully destroyed the motor, the RC, and generally everything here. The drivetrain is quite good. I don't see anything wrong with it so far in terms of the transmission. You know, I could spin it and yeah, it spins just fine relatively. The chassis is painted as well. Yeah, you know what? Painting the chassis, also pointless. You know, it doesn't do anything. You're still gonna get the same scratches, but I don't see any giant scoring marks on this. So once again, it looks like this thing was not run. Actually, check this out. The wheel was painted. It's shiny on this side. Why would anybody paint wheels? They're already black, and paint messes up, you know, the softness of the rubber over time. There's absolutely no point in doing this. This is Nitro Gang first for me, guys. Actually, you know what? Is the transmission working? I'm gonna test this right now. I'm gonna put this on the hood of my Grand Marquis here, right? Terrific car. I'm gonna spin the spur gear. Okay, yeah, so it seems to be working. I can feel the tension going through the drive shaft and to the wheel. So yeah, shocks, yeah, absolutely no oil in the shocks. You know, these are like the Chinese ones where if you buy them, you gotta fill them with oil. A lot of times people just put them on because they look cool, and they look cool. I'm not gonna disagree on that, but there is no shock oil at all inside. No big deal. The Nitro Gang guru here, I can figure that out. Looks like somebody was trying to add weight to the body for whatever reason, right? And yeah, it's just zip-tied batteries in here. I mean, this will work, don't get me wrong, but you've now created the highest center of gravity possible. You know, usually what people do is they put weights over here in the front or somewhere on the bottom of the chassis because you want to get the weight as low as possible to have a low center of gravity. That's really the goal here. But it looks like even some old fuel tank here. I've never seen this in my life. Of course, this is basically trash. There is no way this is going to be usable. It's painted and it's cracked. So basically, it's cracked. Forget about the paint. The crack is the first issue here, right? You can't have a cracked fuel tank. You're not going to have any fuel pressure. That goes without saying. New tires, unpainted. That's already a good sign. So maybe I'll replace these, but it doesn't matter. The goal is really to see whether this engine is salvageable. Now let me remove the header and I'll show you guys what I noticed before. Okay, so as you look inside the piston, I can tell it is at basically top dead center. I don't know if you guys could see, there's really not much light here, but yeah, I'll put a picture here. It's at top dead center. Yeah, not good. Probably hella seized. Yeah, otherwise there's really nothing else I could tell about this motor without looking inside, but yeah, it's seized. It is not good. So guys, I have a project ahead of me. This is pretty in-depth stuff here. I don't know how long this might even take. It's really gonna come down to making a proper analysis, you know, whether the engine itself is restorable or it needs to be, you know, replaced with something else. I don't want to have to really mess with the carb too much. There's always situations whenever you remove the carb, there's tiny little O-rings here, and even a tiny little leak that's going to create a problem. But other than that, it looks like all the parts I need, the current owner has bought already. So that's something good. And if you guys have any good ideas on what to do with this, put it in the comments. I really would appreciate that. You know, maybe he should put a Dynamite 19 in here. I'm not sure. I think all of these parts will fit that anyway, you know, in terms of the pull start, the one-way bearing. So we're good when it comes to that part. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. You know, this is truly a grassroots, I want to say, Nitro Rustler project. This is not an easy one. A lot of times people think you could just throw this thing in there, boom, there you go. It isn't that easy. There's a lot of other things that you got to do. And, you know, for it to run. I hope I'm not in over my head. I may be the Nitro Gang leader, but you know what? Sometimes there's like a cost-benefit analysis you got to do. And I'm going to give this a more detailed look, and we'll see where it's at. All right, Nitro Gang, I'm home. I'm wearing glasses. I got the 3.3 engine out here. The reason I have glasses is because we're about to enter the Nitro Engine Matrix. We're gonna take a look inside this motor. I have no idea what the condition of the motor is, so let's see. Okay, I'm looking inside. Oh, Mo, let me take this off. It is actually not bad at all inside there. Here's a closer look. It's not terrible in there. I don't see any major rust, but I also do not really see any oil. And you need to have oil in these things. But yeah, I don't see any major pitting, of course, around the piston, around the sleeve. Seems okay. Yeah, it looks like a regular crankshaft. I don't see any huge amount of rust in there. So yeah, hopefully this engine will be salvageable just based on this. Of course, ideally you would want to remove the back plate to see if the connection rod is busted. So why don't I do that now? I better not have any surprises. Okay. You know what? So far, no major surprises. At this point, I've confirmed the connecting rod is in a single piece. You don't see any kind of weird splits down the center there. Typically, these 3.3 engines split or break right over here. There's some kind of design flaw apparently. A lot of people have had this, but yeah, this one looks to be okay. It's just stuck at the top. Probably just the way it was and it got seized over time. I'm gonna bake this in the oven next time with some oil, just like I did on my OS18TZ, or I might just, you know, take the easy way out and use a heater on the block and some oil. Use a heater on the block, you're gonna get the same desired results, and no burnt taste afterwards. You know what I'm saying? There it is, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Comment, make sure you like, and make sure you subscribe. The Nitro Gang member boss is not gonna ask twice. Do it, or else. NYPD! Guys, I'm in Prospect Park in Brooklyn. There's some kind of bike thing going on. I hear them chanting a chant. How do you spell racist? NYPD. NYPD! They're yelling, how do you spell racist? The answer is NYPD. Now, I never was in the spelling bee contest, you know, I wasn't the best speller in school, but NYPD, that is not how you actually spell racist.